welcome back to the Coco Mac podcast. I am your host, Coco Mac, and this is episode 3. Today we're going to talk about our processes and what it takes to do something from start to finish without completely losing your mind. It's a trial and error process to come to terms with your need for efficient systems and your implementation of those systems post-creation. This last week, I've encountered some self-induced struggles that could have been avoided if I had optimized my life and systematized what I was planning to execute a little bit better. And I believe my failure to do those things to the point that they needed to be done, I think that had ultimately an impact on my mental health. The state of my mind went to places that are unfamiliar, and I am grateful that I can recognize that. And I just wanted to pass that on to start things off, because obviously we are our toughest critics. It's so much easier to see what's wrong with us than what's so right with us in times of difficulty. So whether that's learning a new program or starting a podcast or whatever it is, and those were situational things that I was dealing with that lowered my threshold for daily life, and I do want to work on that. So you're not alone. If you're feeling like you just can't get it right, and you're waiting for the signal that finally makes it clear that you'll never get it right, you're waiting for the wrong thing. Don't surrender to your own inadequacies, okay? Don't surrender to what's worse. Don't surrender to what is the worst about you in your own eyes. It's just a matter of making it a habit to focus on everything that's good about yourself and go from there. Don't build from I'm the worst person ever, because you're not. That's just an exaggeration. To summarize what I've been doing all week, basically making podcasts and then editing them and just feeling like they didn't land. In addition to being new to video editing, I'm new to video editing software and other technical difficulties that are weirdly affecting me. Definitely had an impact on me losing the plot. So the first podcast that I didn't end up publishing was about what Miley Cyrus is doing with her new talk show on Instagram Live. There are so many angles that it works from. So as a matter of her taking the reins of her own PR, that's not a very humanitarian first point, but it is really a great image control approach on Miley Cyrus's part. And I really appreciated her relatability, because she's had a very one-of-a-kind life, and her ability to recognize the universality of her struggles and her ability to broadcast what she does to cope, her ability to articulate what she's after, which is helping other people. It's really admirable, and it's rooted in really good intentions. So I'm here for it. In my next podcast, most likely, I'll break down what Miley premiered on her initial Instagram Live. And it's basically the Bright Minds approach. And since the start of her show, which she has since titled Bright Minded, it's branched out into a lot of really cool things. And it was just cool timing. I appreciate Miley for doing this, and it seems like something she looks forward to, and that's fun for her to do. And that's amazing because she's helping people feel less alone and she's informing people. So these are all amazing things, and I'm going to give it the attention it deserves. Miley Cyrus, hats off to you for this innovative step. It's really cool to see. Also, I'm inspired by her mug. So this is why we have this. Then yesterday, I attempted to make a podcast and it ended with tears. I'm not a big crying person, but I don't know what to say. I honestly cried when I failed to see this through because I just really cared about it and I thought it was a great idea. I could have done it, but if ultimately the final product is just not hitting the way I feel it needs to be an accurate reflection of me, then it's my job to recognize that and not put it out there. So that's why I didn't. After investing hours into this certain project, which I'm about to get into, I realized that it just wasn't true to me and the point of what I wanted to say wasn't there. So moving on. I attempted to do an ASMR get ready with me about Lana Rhoades. And this was, I don't think, rooted in the proper intentions, although they were badass intentions. I know that Lana Rhoades is apparently, she's a lot of things. She's an entrepreneur, she's an entertainer, she's a model, she is looking for the next big frontier. I will offer my suggestion after this. She was on one of the podcasts that I enjoyed listening to, and that is Logan Paul's Impulsive. And they're actually looking for a co-host, and I have thrown my hat in the ring. To be transparent, that's part of the reason why I started this podcast. And so I've been following their content closely. I understand that Lana Rhoades is a view magnet, for lack of a better word. Here was my plan. I was going to say this in an ASMR voiceover and do like a get ready with me to absolutely SEO bomb the impulsive interview. And I have to say, I did my research going into this because I knew Lana was going to be the guest, and I knew that Riley Reid's interview was their most popular. And I knew that going deep would probably be a key word that they tried to capitalize on. And my inclinations were confirmed to be the case. So that's cool. And then I tried to execute it and show them that I am the SEO master that I truly claim to be. Anyway, so I'm still going to do that. So if the title of this video is Going Deep with Lana Rhoades ASMR, my first time, quickie, in parentheses, reaction, then love you. I looked at my analytics and 99.9% of my viewers aren't subscribed. And shout out to my one subscriber. You are amazing. That's my homie right there. But yeah, welcome to the Coco Mac podcast. This is something that's going to keep happening, whether Logan Paul accepts me into his podcast family or not. If I manage to go on with my life, should that be the case, which no promises. I've been thinking a lot about innovations in the marketing space, and one thing that I dove into by myself was this idea of a revival of the handshake level deal, and that especially applies to music. Here's what I'm thinking. You take David Dobrik, for example. In one of his vlogs, he used a song called Burn the House Down. And who was it by? I'll put an image here because I learned how to do that. That's progress. Maybe I can swat it away. He used it in his vlog, and I thought it was well placed. It made sense in his content. Great. Had never heard the song before. Fast forward a week, I'm driving, playing streaming music, and that song comes on. I immediately feel a feeling of joy surge through my body because of these, neuro connections that are going on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, okay, go off, sis. We know David Dobrik is the king of the phone call deal. He kind of has to be most of the time. His content is not YouTube terms of agreement certified. So he doesn't get monetized, I don't believe. So he goes and does deals with SeatGeek and buys his friends' cars, and it's really cool what he has going on. I thought an angle that he might also be going down is sort of this music industry exposure for streaming numbers lane. So basically, he isn't getting monetized anyway. He approaches an artist or their label and says, let's cut out the middleman and I'll play your song on my vlog. You are currently streaming at this rate. When I've done this in the past, streams at similar stream rates have improved exponentially, as seen here, and he'd have evidence, obviously, and then a deal would be made. It would be easy for David Dobrik to do something along those lines and not get away with it, but have it gone unnoticed. And good for him. That's amazing. The artist gets paid one way or another if their streaming numbers go up. And it's a situation where you don't involve the muddying of the bureaucratic pool. Other people can do this as well. This could also apply very well to artists who are more so in the classic category, like, I don't know, the Knack own the rights to their music maybe. If Logan Paul puts My Sharona in his video and their streams go up as a result, I streamed the song after I heard it. Came out in 1979, and maybe they own their music. Well, ring ring. Hi, do you mind if we broadcast your classic song to millions of people? Okay, here's how much that'll cost, and here's how much you'll make from streaming services in a projection. Boom, bada bing. Oh, George from Vine. George Janko, folks. Now, I have my suspicions, George. I'm on to you, sir. No, I'm just kidding. But again, the marketing gears in my mind were turning, and I was like, George, are you trying to pull a fast one on us? So basically, he pranked his roommate or one of his friends and said, oh my gosh, the Ring camera caught our groceries being stolen. Okay? And then the marketing red flags went up. The conspiracy alarm bells chimed to the high heavens because At the surface, it seemed like just your average Crazy George prank. But the potential underlayers of that involve a flip phone, ring, 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 hey, Ring camera security. I'm gonna do this bit where I prank my roommate that her groceries got stolen, and then we're going to incorporate your name into it a couple of times. If we say it 2 times, this is how much it's going to cost. If we say it 3 times, this is how much it's going to cost. You in or you out? You're in? All right, I'll have my people send you the contract. Then close. Motorola is closed, and bada bing, bada boom, George Janko secures the bag. I would be interested in knowing how much the My Sharona streams went up after Logan Paul put it in his vlog, because that equals money in the bank for people. You see this happening a lot in late night, okay? So Stephen Colbert, he will incorporate brand names into his monologues, and it's like, I'm looking around, and clearly Colbert and his peeps are getting the coin off of these consumer packaged good shout outs embedded in their jokes. So it's like, hey, embed a Procter & Gamble product in your monologue and make money. Make it seem like it's a joke. And that's obviously not a Motorola type of deal, but it is a little devious. I'm pretty sure I'm not some wild conspiracy theorist on this one. Dun, dun, dun. And the quote of the day is, tell me, why do you think I didn't get the anchor job? Is it my hair? Are my teeth not white enough? Or like the Great Falls, is the bedrock of my life eroding beneath me? Eroding, 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 eroding. I'm workshopping it, so might not make the cut. Lana Rhoades securing bags left and right. We love that. Good for her. She's making money, and that's cool. She did kind of mention that she's wondering what exactly her next move is going to be. Lana Rhoades needs to go into the makeup world. That should absolutely be her next move, okay? And if you were to ask me, I would call it Stepsister Cosmetics. At least launch with some nude palettes. Would it be categorized as makeup for adult entertainers? Honestly, you could make it makeup for everyone. Like every girl's inner vixen identifies with Stepsister Cosmetics, is how I'm seeing it. And the nude angle is kind of tongue-in-cheek, so to speak. And I would partner with Jeffree Star on this, because Jeffree Star knows formula. I'm not going to diss anyone else's formula, but Jeffree Star knows pigments. He knows how to make makeup for everyone, but also makeup that works for people who do things like drag and night entertainment. So he's your guy on this, Lana. Get in touch with him. Say, this is what I want to do, and make it happen. And imagine the shade names, okay? You would obviously incorporate Full Frontal into something. It would be a sin if you didn't. Lana Rhoades, makeup. That's your next category to conquer. And you should call it Stepsister by Lana Rhoades or Stepsister Cosmetics by Lana Rhoades. Imagine how inundated the internet would be with your name. The fact that you did film would eventually be so far removed from the core of your identity in the public eye. It would match your internal view of yourself, even, I think, more accurately. But honestly, screw the haters. I do think that would be a cool thing for you to pivot into. Lana's makeup is always on point. She has this amazing nude vibe where it's like, I'm not wearing makeup, but I am. And I think that's the next wave of makeup trends, because this over contouring thing, I see it fading out. I see a return to natural beauty. If I were to advise Lana on one more point, it would be make it vegan, make it cruelty free, make it sustainably packaged. That's another reason why Jeffree Star is the right person to partner with. He is known for making components, the part of it. He's known for his component swag. He's really smart. Jeffree Star is your guy on this. If you wanted advice for what to do next, that's my advice. Make it happen. Anyway, it would be really popular. Imagine the bands. Okay, so that about wraps it up. This has been episode 3 of the Coco Mac podcast. Keep your eye out for the breakdown of my analysis of Miley's new IG Live show. I'll go over some of the core fundamentals of the Bright Minds acronym that inspired the name of her show, Bright Minded. Miley, I wish you a lot of luck with that, and I'm going to give your new endeavor the attention it deserves. Props to everybody. And just as a final reminder, you guys, don't be too hard on yourselves, but also don't give yourselves pats on the back every time you try something, even if you don't succeed. I'm not an 8th place trophy kid. I'm not coming from the 8th place trophy background in life. And so when I try something and I fail, I don't usually give myself credit unless I've seen it through at the very least. Effort, I don't give myself many points for it, but this, I don't have any excuse. This is getting on the internet if it's the last thing I do. But anyway, you guys, take it easy. Be nice to yourselves. Be nice to each other. This has been the Coco Mac podcast, episode 3. I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and I will link my next video on the end screen, so see you there.